Hello everyone, you got the Bub031 here again, and I'm going to be doing another review on a locomotive that I just got. It is a recent release, not too long ago. It's from one of my favorite companies, and it is a brand new locomotive, never been done in any other manufacturer before. So this is the Bowser SD30C-ECO with ESU lock sound. So, we'll go over the packaging, the details of the locomotive, the sounds, the function. We'll do a couple of run-bys, and then we'll wrap it up from there. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now we got the intro out of the way, let's start with the unboxing. So, here we have the, it looks like a new style of packaging from Bowser. And just to show you the different packaging, I'll show you the previous packaging of the SD40-3 that I purchased not too long ago. As you can see, the Bowser sleeve, it's no longer, you can see through the plastic protective. It's actually hidden until you actually undo the sleeve. Whereas with, say, with the SD40-3 locomotive, it's a clear plastic, it's still protected, but you can still see what's actually inside. And there's actually some other different things about what the new one is, with the new packaging as well. So, even though Bowser still has the plastic shell that you gotta unscrew from the locomotive, which I find I like it, it keeps it safe. The packaging from the SD40-3 when it was there, it was a clamshell. It was a clamshell with foam inside the model. Now, we're going to open this up, and I'm going to see, because I heard and saw other videos, that the packaging is completely different. I'm just going to put this locomotive away for a second, so just bear with me. Alright, we're going to open up new SD30C-ECO. So as you can see, it's a new style of sleeve. And now let's open it up. So if you look at it, it's just foam on the end holding the locomotive in the cradle. So no protective plastic or anything like that. This is new. Must be how they're doing it now. But it's way in there. Like, hard. Come on. So, yeah. Kind of difficult to get out. So, I'm going to take it out of the cradle, and then we're going to go over the details of this locomotive. So, as well with your SD30C-ECO that comes in the box, you also get... It does come with a V5 decoder, so it comes with instructions and with all the sound functions on the actual locomotive. So just to give you a heads up, I'm only doing a few here with the actual running, but these are from F0 to F31. That is all of the sounds on board the locomotive. As well, you can switch the horns, the bells, and you can also do your smart start, which is actually really neat. Not only that, it comes with the proper way of how to lubricate the locomotive as well. and how to actually get at the shell and underneath. It also comes with a couple of extra bits. Okay, so we're going to go over a quick little bit of history on the SD30C-ECO. So, the EMD SD30C-ECO is a 3,000 horsepower CC diesel electric locomotive. It was built by EMD. Although similar to the EMD SD32-ECO, the SD30C-ECO follows the Canadian Pacific Railway's requisitions for crashworthiness and EPA emission standards, with the C in the designation denoting crashworthiness of the cab, frame, and fuel tank. CP requests a relaxed emission standard, Tier 0 instead of Tier 2, to cut costs. Cores of the locomotives come from CP's fleet of EMD SD40-2 frames, trucks. Internal components are reused, while new standard cab designs and constructions by EMD and a fuel tank is built new for each unit. With the increased emissions requirement, the locomotive features flared radiators similar to those on the EMD SD45 to house additional cooling equipment, and the locomotives have a snoot nose to house additional electronics. All lighting, with exception of the headlights and ditch lights, are LED. A total of 50 SD30C-ECOs have been built for Canadian Pacific in 2 orders. The first order was for 20 locomotives numbered 5,000 through 51.9, and the second order was an additional 30 locomotives numbered 5020 to 5049. And as you can see here, we have 5023. So another way you could tell with this if it is from the first batch or the second batch. The first batch, the ditch lights are actually under the anti-climber, whereas in the second batch, the ditch lights are above the anti-climber. Usually that also tells me that this was built on an American frame, this one, whereas if the ditch lights are below, they're actually built on former Canadian frames. So now let's look at the locomotive. As you can see, very crisp lettering. I got my pointer here. We'll start with the front. So, very crisp lettering, individual parts all glued and mounted, and the windows are very cleared. You can see everything is actually all plastic. It's not really rubber like you do see on some of the locomotives. You got your MU hose here that's attached to it. You got your ditch lights here above the anti-climber. You got your vertical steps. You got all your warning labels, your F for your front of the locomotive. As you can see, I believe this has I don't know what this is on top, but I believe this is for PTC, positive train control. I'm not sure. If someone in the comments could actually help me out and tell me if this is actually for positive train control, that would be helpful. You can actually see inside the cab of the locomotive, which is very, very nice. You don't see that much detail on these locomotives, but now, this day and age, you actually are seeing more and more. You can see that it says SD30C-ECO on the side. It's code right there. You got your safety striping here on the side. Your warning hazards all along the locomotive. You can actually see down into the fans as well. That's for the speaker to help actually give out a better sound. On the trucks, you could see all the piping, the Dofasco actual logo on the side of the truck as well. Turn this around a bit. On the back, you can see we had the ditch lights here at the rear. We got a foldable step to cross the locomotives. The chain's just made of plastic. On this side, as you can see down here that I'm pointing to, you got your extra couplers, knuckles, and as well on this side, it looks like that's an actual place for your end of train device to be stored. Right down here, as you can see that I'm pointing to. Because it's just a giant it's just a giant bucket, as you can see. Moving on to the actual engineer's side, we got the brake chain, and it's actually held by a little spring as well, as you can see here. You got your brake wheel, all your individual warning labels on the side of the locomotive. As well up here. And actually on the inside, you could see the actual control stand. Very, very detailed locomotive. I only picked up one, but that's a reason for that. And so far, this locomotive looks amazing. We're now going to move over to the club layout and continue on with this review. Just be mindful, I will be quiet in there due to the fact other people are running trains. And you'll be hearing other trains in the background. So, let's go to the layout. Okay, so here we are going to test out functions and sounds. I'm here at our club for the month layout run. And we will go through the sound and functions. So, we're going to hit F8 to turn on the power. And as you can see, the number boards light up as soon as you hit F8. The sound comes on for the prime mover, and the cab lights come on for the startup. And then they go out. So the next thing here is our lights. F0 is the lights. We got our bell. We got our horn. Very crisp horn. Very, very, very crisp horn. And the e-bell automatically goes out as well. F6 is our ditch lights. F3 is our coupler. F4 should be dynamics. So F4 is dynamics. And it only works when the locomotive is in motion. And of course, when you put it in reverse, you will see that the ditch lights and the rear lights will come on. And you hear the control toggles of it going into reverse. Okay, so now we're going to see the drive of this locomotive by going through speed step 1 through 16 just to see how smooth it is. Here we go. She just started notching up, so that's speed step 1. Speed step 2. We're at 3. 4, 5, 6. Still smooth. Speed step 7 is when she starts notching up. Alright, and now we will reverse it and see how the speed steps are in reverse. So as you can see right now with the unit coming into view, and now we are going to see the speed steps in reverse. So there's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just speed step 6, and that's how smooth this locomotive runs. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll do a few run-by shots with this, pulling a train, and then we will wrap up the video after that. Okay, so we're back from the layout, and we're just going to wrap this review up. So, overall, great locomotive. I picked mine up for $360 with DCC and sound. Get out there, get it at either your local hobby shop, your retailer online, or your distributor. But mostly, just get this locomotive while they're still there, because this is a very fantastic locomotive. And that's going to be it for my review. So, I want to thank you all for watching. And as always, make sure the signal's green. Keep moving down the line.